Hello, everyone. Welcome to an exciting week of Ultras League. It is our last week of the Ultras League Season 8. Can't believe it's been 8 seasons already. But we got an exciting match for you in Elixir A between Night Dew 14 and One Free Fits. The winner of this 1v1 has a great chance of moving on to Mega Elixir next season. Unfortunately, we were hoping for a three-way race, but Narves is unable to make it tonight. But instead, we got this exciting 1v1. It's going to be great. I'm Fiery Blizzard. Joining me today in the booth is NG Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, Fiery. Looking forward to a fantastic match between these two runners.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Elixir is the level below Mega Elixir. You have to be pretty good at the game to even get to this level. One more level to go. And then if whichever one of our racers tonight wins this match is going to be in a great position to join and part of an elite group of 12 players to win the Ultras League season up in Mega Elixir. So a lot on the line here. I can't wait to see how both of these players approach their seed, or this seed. I'm also in Elixir A. I've already ran this seed, so I know sort of some of the things that are hiding in the seed, so it can be interesting to commentate as well. What are you looking forward to in the seed as our racers are going to get going soon?
Oh, I'm looking for some good chaos. Maybe a nice Magitech Science always a treat.
Ooh. Don't know if we're gonna get that. We may or we may not. I don't actually even remember the specifics. But it should be exciting either way. I'm really looking forward to how this race turns out. As you guys, if you aren't familiar with Worlds Collide, you can essentially, but you are familiar with randomizers, you can essentially treat characters as key items, because they will unlock checks that you can do in the World of Ruin or the World of Balance. Worlds Collide meaning that you can actually go in between both of those. You need 6 characters and then 9 Espers to unlock Final Kefka. And then you can also skip right to the switches where the statues in the Guardian spot are by either collecting 9 characters, 12 Espers, or doing 22 checks. It's going to be interesting what our racers decide to do once they get towards the end game. But we're going to start off with 3 characters to begin with, sort of to get your opening routing. You have immediate decisions. There are certain checks where you don't have to do any fights, free checks. And then there are checks which are going to be a bit longer, may involve 1 or 2 or multiple fights. So it's exciting. To me, personally, Dave, I don't know if you feel the same way. The most important in terms of a race, and in terms of your time, is the first 15 to 20 minutes of the seed, and then the last 20 minutes of the seed. You can really make up a lot of time based on how quickly you get off that starting level 3. And then, of course, what is at the statue spots and what are your teams?
I would agree with that. Everyone who's played this random, we've had those seeds where you try getting up level 3, your first grind fight is level Magics, your second grind fight is Naughty, your third grind fight is Siegfried.
The absolute dream right there. But I don't even remember what starting characters we're going to have, so it's going to be a surprise to me as well. But, if there are multiple characters that have sort of a grinds fight start, so you're talking, if you have Sabin, you have Imperial Camp that has 4 fights. If you have Gal, you have Serpent's Trench that, again, has 4 fights.
Realm, you can do the fights in Elder's Mansion.
Yeah. But it does look like we have an Edgar, Go-Go, and a Cyan. It is a vanilla Cyan with sword tech.
They were both vanilla. That was Tool's Edgar, too.
So we're going to see where our racers start off here. Both of them going to World of Balance Narsh immediately, sort of the standard first play of a seed. You have nice amount of chests in the Narsh shed, and you also have access to some quick shops. But yeah, it's a very interesting seed because you have quite a few. You have a couple freebies here. You have Edgar's Throne, you have Go-Go's Cave. Of course, you'd want to do that with a Warpstone. We also get some rods in the Narsh shed. So, as we were talking about, getting off of level 3, throwing a rod is a great way to do that.
Yes, it is. Now, I don't know how much our runners want to shop here, since we do, with that Edgar, we do have access to a bunch of free or half-price shops.
Yes, the 2 item shops in the World of Balance in Figaro Castle, and then the World of Ruin in South Figaro Town are a half price if you have Edgar leading your party. So
That's I do like the Noise Blaster buy with the tools user. That can help with the grind fight. Can get you a free offering.
yeah, metal's a status, and if you can use it, that's great. We also do see viable fire rods here in the Narsha weapon shop as well. It's up. These are great things to find when you have a go-go in your party, because you just need to break one, and then you can mimic it over and over again. That's a great way to get through early fights. Even if you want to take a boss immediately, breaking a rod and breaking it over and over again, that will get you through generally.
As Brivon in chat pointed out, great thing to find when you have money.
We do have Fitz going into Returner's hideout, where Naidu is actually in the shop in the airship. A pretty interesting play. You don't see that very often. Meanwhile, we see that the Returner's NPC playing a little bit naughty with Fitz, blocking his path. I find that the NPCs in Worlds Collide is probably the most aggravating aspect. But we also did get a fixed dice in Returners. That's a great weapon, Dave, isn't it?
I don't know. I just saw a bunch of money. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
But yeah,
no, it actually is a good early weapon. All jokes aside.
Yes. The fact that it is only dictated by math, and you're basically from your level and doesn't care about the enemy's defense, is great. However, in Worlds Collide, in Ultras League, there's only a 33% chance that a weapon that cannot be equipped in vanilla by a character can be equipped by another character. So right now we have 33% chance for each of those characters to actually equip a fixed dice. Sensor being the only character that can actually equip fixed dice in vanilla.
Fitz, speaking of getting off level 3, Fitz finds black dragons in the Figaro Desert, which can be revivified, so one item and you're out.
Undeads are great to see early, because those revivifies will do work. But we are getting our way to Figaro Throne. Who are we going to find? What are we going to find? Be very interesting. One of the quality of lives that we have for Worlds Collide is that everyone, in Ultras League anyways, can equip the Moogle Charm. So we're not going to be bogged down by random encounters everywhere we walk. And there's Shadow. And Shadow has GP rank.
Shadow can fight with the power of capitalism. Very useful early on, because it's just 60 times level damage.
Yes. And it's going to be a bit awkward for Naidu, who is currently checking the shop here at Gal's Manor, which is a check when you have Shadow in it, as we're going to see Fitz almost certainly do quickly. But Naidu did find the warp stones there at Gal's Manor. Is Naidu going to go to Gogo's Cave? Yes, it is going to take sort of the more, I would find probably the most annoying check in the game other than the auction house, Zone Eater here.
We're going to see just how good the little green man is at defending today.
Now it's going to be interesting too, because Naidu Fitz having that Shadow, I don't know if Fitz is going to do the same thing when he finds warp stones, because you have more free checks. You have other things you can do. But Naidu getting the first turn engulf, getting one part of the luck. Now just has to deal with the green conductor, especially the one in the middle, very notorious for being awful. We shall see.
That free check turns into Shiva, so we have our first Esper found.
Nice ribbon there. Is Naidu going to get through? Trying to menu buffer, got back to the bridge without getting knocked off. Really doesn't want to get knocked off here. And makes it through. Meanwhile, Fitz is in South Figaro. This looks like World of Balance, so not half-price shops here. But we'll probably go to World of Ruin soon. But is finding those cheap earrings, even though it isn't off. At least I don't think this is World of Ruin. But also some Atlas armlets, so nice damage boosting.
Those are 4,800 Atlas armlets. I think those were too expensive to be ruined.
But I mean, still worth it for sure. 25% boost to your physical attack on those Atlas armlets, 25% chance for 25% damage in the earrings, and Night Dew finding Acelas. It's going to go and get the South Figaro basement check. So we're going to have a little bit of an interesting switcheroo here.
Oh,
where
yeah, both racers getting a little bit of extra efficiency over the other.
A Thunder Shield there in the pot in South Figaro. A nice find. Night Dew looks like he is going to South Figaro in the World of Balance. We'll find those earrings. We'll find the Atlas armlets as well. Fitz finding warp stones in the item shop in there as well. Didn't seem to pick up any, but did find them in Gal's Manor, so already has them. But yeah, this is generally the beginning of Worlds Collide, right? You'll do a couple freebies, you'll go shop for, or loot and shop for some opening power, and then you try to make the seed as downhill as possible. So, I mean, we talked about it a little bit here. I find earrings sort of one of the best relics that you can find early on. We have some rods. What are the other things that our racers may be looking for early on to sort of start that downhill, sort of get the seed rolling quickly?
You mentioned any of the sticks that would be nice to find. Any of the big sticks, if you trip over one, sure. I wouldn't mind. You mentioned the rods, you mentioned the shields. If you can find them in a shop, especially in a half-price shop, shields are great.
Absolutely. And
speaking of a stick, the Ragnarok there in the World of Ruin. Given that the World of Ruin is half price off, I don't expect Night Dew to not find that as well, unless he decides to not loot South Figaro World of Ruin. We also got the Hyperist here in the relic shop in the World of Ruin, and Economizers. Economizers are okay, I guess. They're not really that great. Hyperists I find a lot better, especially now that you have a Ragnarok in there. Fitz is probably, I would say, looking for gauntlets. Would be probably the best thing he can find. You mentioned other things to get the seed off the ground. We have a tools user, so the flash item, great for getting a seed off the ground.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm not entirely sure how much you saw of Edgar's stats. His stats were actually pretty poor this seed. He has a whole 32 vigor, and I think like somewhere in the low or mid-20s in magic. So kind of a potato Edgar on his rolls. You do have a spread of stats that you can get based on the character from vanilla, and kind of rolled on the low side. Meanwhile, Ice Shield here in South Figaro basement, so no progression for Night Dew there, but still having a Celeste, having an Ice Shield is certainly not a bad thing either. It's surprising me a little bit going to Zone Eater as well. I'm curious what both our racers are going to say afterwards if we ask them why they went to Zone Eater. I think it's probably a bit easier to understand Night Dew's thought, not having the shadow. I'm a bit surprised that Fitz going down here, so I'm curious to ask him about that later if I remember.
Well, Zone Eater already being a bit more rude on Fitz's side. Not getting the immediate engulf that Night Dew got.
Yeah, to point out, there were, I mean, South Figaro had really decent loot, including that Ragnarok. We also had force armor. We had a couple of shields as well. Defense, while not, offense is more important than defense in Worlds Collide, but it never hurts to have defense. It's also getting, got a little trolled on the Engulf Demi, but got a better guard luck than Night Dew, so probably about even in terms of Zone Eater. So let's talk a little bit about the checks that we have available with our, let's say, 4 characters here, or 5.
We'll say 4 because Gogo's already taken care of.
Yes, Gogo's already taken care of. We have the World of Ruin checks of Figaro Castle for Edgar, so that's the Engine Room Ancient Castle. That includes the Blue Dragon and the Raiden Odin transition. We have Shadow that has Cave on the Veldt. and has Olive Floating Continent that has 2 guaranteed progression, which is an Esper or a character. We have Cella's, which has the Opera House, South Figaro Basement, which we've already seen, and then Magitech, which has 3 checks in there. Now, our racers have sort of, Night Dew will eventually get the Shadow more than likely. Where are you thinking of going at this point?
You already have 5 characters. I would not hate hitting Magitech 1 and 2 with Celis just to get 2 shots at Espers. Maybe hit Ruin Narsh, just spots that can not only reward Espers.
Yeah, so if you go to Magitech right now, do you do all 3, or do you bail out with a Warp Stone after the first 2 checks?
I think it's bail.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things I can't really comment on because I did check. I do know a little bit more about the seed, so I'm already biased into what I would do because I already know what the answer is. But
Fair
it's
enough.
definitely an interesting concept too, because the grind fights aren't bad either. I mean, they can be bad. I don't remember what they are.
That is a very expensive Zen Thief. We will see you in the other world.
Taka Mage in chat actually brings up a good point. We have plenty of shields to break, and we have a Go-Go.
True.
You take an early dragon.
Worth a shot.
So for me, since we're going to have 2 Espers, it's definitely more tempting than when we had 1 Esper. I think it's good because the faster we get levels, the faster that Egger becomes more useful. Ragnarok and Illumina's, despite being really great sticks, physical damage does depend on levels squared, so getting your levels up is significantly more important. So, you at least want to be, level 15 before you start really getting some good damage on those sticks. Could do Opera House for the fights in the Opera House. There are 2 types of fights in there, represented by the rats, and then you have a boss at the end. Floating Continent has 3 fights and then 2 bosses to even get on Floating Continent, so that's a risky one. You can do Doma Defense and take the soldiers out of there, and then take on the boss. You could also, if you're looking for a dragon, I said Opera House Dragon, but you could go to Mount Zozo and take a chest there. Meanwhile, not the encounter Night Dew is looking for.
That is the worst grind fight if you're looking for XP.
Yes, gives you no EXP and you can't escape. So, resetting there. Not what you want to see for a grind. Try somewhere else, in a different zone somewhere. Night Dew is going outside of Doma. Fitz, I assume at this point we have to be done shopping. We have... it's 14 and a half minutes in. I expect we'll start seeing some fights from both our racers at the...
Now we do see the grinding begin.
Yeah, it's interesting to also be how much grinding do you really want to do? That Wing Edge proc coming in, instantly killing one of the enemies. We do, like I said, we have the Cyan with Vanilla Sword Tank. So, one of the things we hadn't talked about, for those of you unfamiliar with Worlds Collide, there are a couple other objectives that we have in Ultras League that help sort of a couple commands. So if you do Magitech, all the factory, go through where... with cranes are everything, not cranes, but that whole check sequence, you get full M-Tech unlock, which includes Tech Missile. We don't have a Magitech command in our party yet, but we do have Sword Tech, and if you finish Doma's Dream, which has 2 bosses in it, you get the full unlock of Sword Tech. Now, Dave, why would our racers be interested in that?
Well, Sword Tech 8 is a very accurate, I think it's unblockable, instant death attack on all enemies. Sword Tech 7 can do good damage if you're in a pinch. And 6, good AoE magic damage.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong, and especially if you're thinking maybe to keep a Go-Go around. Go-Go is a perfect candidate to use Sword Tech 8 and, say, the tiers of Kefka. Again, our goal here is to, at the end of the day, climb up the tiers of Kefka and beat down the clown at the top of his own tower. So that's the end goal. We need to find a couple more characters and a lot more espers. So we got our first fight style check here from Night Dew in the World of Balance, Doma.
Going to take the side fights like you mentioned, the Angua forms. Not sure about these.
Yeah, they'll go down for sure. I don't think they'll go that great EXP. Some people like to check the boss ahead of time before taking the fight, and then basically say, if the boss is terrible, I don't want to do this fight at all. Night Dew is probably going to find out. It was perfectly okay, just an Ultros. Looks
Ultros
like Ultros
3?
2. Oh, Ultros 3, yes.
We do not have a sketch command, so we can't just instantly win this fight.
No, and would you use the sketch command if you had?
Probably not. This isn't overly threatening, and you don't get XP if you sketch it.
I agree. There are a few times where sketch is going to be useful. You can think of like the end game where it's like you don't need the levels and it's just going to be faster. I'm sorry, just an Ultros. I mean no disrespect. This is Ultros 8. 8, of course, being the number of tentacles. We really have to give respect to our mascot here in Ultros League as we come to the end of season. Maybe we'll see a couple more Ultros. Maybe we'll see more sticks.
That is a stick from Doma Defense. If you're going to get a dead check, that's almost as good as it gets.
Yeah, there are not too many things that you would rather have. In fact, I can think of maybe one thing you might rather have, only because we already have a stick. But that's not an EXP egg, but... Night Dew is going to go... Both of our racers going into Mount Zozo. Like I said earlier, there is a dragon here. I expect both of our racers to take it. Thankfully, in this flag set, or not thankfully, depending on your point of view, dragons are scaled. So we didn't really talk about scaling. Would you like to inform our viewers who may not be familiar with it?
Sure. So, in Worlds Collide, enemies can be scaled. Enemies' HP, level, and XP gain can be scaled based on multiple different factors. In Ultros League, they're all scaled based on the number of characters you found, espers you found, and dragons you've defeated. So enemy level, XP, and their HP will all be equal to characters plus espers plus dragons multiplied by 2, with a cap of 40.
Right on bringing up that Night Dew still has not taken the freebie from Edgar's Throne, which is interesting. If you're starting to kill dragons, I think at this point you kind of want to increase scaling as much as possible because you get that EXP boost.
Right, and Night Dew is a little bit ahead of scaling because that Illumina, while you got XP from the fight, did not increase the enemy scaling because it is not an Illumina is not a character nor an Esper.
That being said, it is very possible that Night Dew is going to take the route of doing all of Ancient Castle in World of Ruin and try to basically one-stop shop Figaro Castle, which is definitely a play you can make. We've got one of the least threatening dragons. Skull Dragon can be a bit rude at some later levels, but in terms of HP and sort of threatening value for a dragon, Skull Dragon is one of the nicer ones for sure. We do see Fitz taking it down. I imagine it's going to go shortly down on Night Dew's side. And there we go.
There. And it's Dragon Rewards. We stole a Torn.
Don't know if we're going to see many jumpers this seed. I mean, look, we have those fixed dice from returners. I don't know if we've checked if anyone can actually use those. We do get an Esper for our reward, though. Put it on the board. That is another Esper. Okay, Celeste has innate jump. I mean, she's swinging Illumina. You can put a Dragon Horn on. It can do things. I feel like sometimes you'd rather just swing and not wait unless you have a massive speed boost. One of the other things we haven't talked about, the Esper bonuses are randomized as well. So 83% chance for every Esper to have a bonus to a stat. So this can be things like stamina, which is sort of useless. It could be strength, it could be speed, like that speed +1 Esper that Nightdew was showing us. Obviously, the earlier you put those on, the better your character is going to be at the end. So make your investments early.
Both racers going straight to Opera House Dragon too.
Yeah, interesting. I'm curious. I'm going to be very curious about what their thoughts are in taking two very early dragons. Nightdew already, I mean, they both have plenty of power, Nightdew having more power than Fitz. But again, like, their progression-wise, like, to me, I feel like they could do more checks and have these dragons worth more. Or at least collect one or two more Espers.
Right, because you never know. You might have an Esper with a couple of third-tier spells on it, and one dragon, and say Celis suddenly has Fire 3 and Ice 3.
Yeah, so I'll be curious to get their opinion on or why they did this. Fitz making wonderful use of those ice rods, throwing one out, then mimicking with Go-Go, taking over that red dragon. Nightdew using Ice 2 and the power of Swing My Swords. And there's another
stick.
Illumina.
This is just filled with sticks.
So many sticks, Dave. So many sticks. Cyan can use none of those sticks. Oh, no,
Cyan can use the Illu.
Yeah, that's right. Fitz is at good old level 20 for all of his characters. Always a bit scary to do so. There is, of course, one boss in Final Fantasy VI that goes Doom Gaze and will open up with level 5 Doom. And being level 20 in your entire party does not make for a good experience unless you want to hit the reset button.
I don't know. That sounds like a lot of math, and I failed some of those tests.
Yes. We all have. Meanwhile, Fitz is going to be the first person into Doma Dream. Nightdew picking up a few Atlas armlets, always great when you're physical offense. Worth, I would say, absolutely 100% worth the time to pick those up. Fitz collected 2 of the 3 triplets, that's all you need. He's going to activate this battle. We're going to see what this boss is. Hey, look,
it is, in fact, a math test.
I saw Go-Go at level 20. Is everyone level 20? Yes. So yes, there, like I said, great way to reset.
Nightdew is going to get away with this. Being only level 19 means you're going to pass the math test.
Yes. The difference of 1 level. Now, I would rather have it there than to have a math test completely failed at the throne, where you're sort of beholden to whatever random encounters you get in Doma Dream itself. And sometimes those encounters may not give you any EXP, and then you're kind of just stuck and hoping you have a save outside of the dream. But we do have Fitz giving an audible here into Velp Cave.
Or having the math test be at, say, Kefka's Tower, and your party is level 40 and level 25.
Yep. All fun. Sometimes it makes you wish you kept on to that memento ring, but it sells for so much. And sometimes it feels a little bit bad when you take that memento ring from Realm if you start with her and like, yeah, I want the 6,000. We do see Interceptor here, the best dog in Final Fantasy VI, guarding an Esper. And we're going to get back attacked by something. Probably not another Doom Gaze. We don't have the Chaos Flag or a random flag on, so it can't be a second Doom Gaze. But who knows?
Just some armor came out of the ground
Yeah.
or through the wall. This would make sense coming through the wall to attack us.
Yeah, so something about Worlds Collide, of course, the bosses are shuffled around randomly, and we have the scaling based on your, in this case, character Esper's and Dragon's Godin. But in general, the early bosses that you encounter in the game are going to be your easier bosses, and the ones that are in World of Ruin or are very annoying, say Doomgaze or Poltergeist, are going to be much more difficult but give you a bit more EXP. So Tunnel Armor, great, because it's generally 2 hits and you're done. Not petting the dog. Fitz is taking this absolutely seriously, but that's a serious mistake. Not petting the dog there, not checking that item. Who knows, it could have been 4 EXP eggs in 1 item chest. We'll never know.
However, that appears to be a large blue button on the Esper from Tunnel Armor.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Naitu getting through that Doomgaze, getting a Maduin. So, again, Racers are definitely looking for Espers here.
Speaking of Espers with 3rd tier spells on, that's Bolt 3 on the Maduin.
Not bad at all. If we find a Guardian anywhere, we're going to really want that Bolt 3.
And Fitz says, I got a few more levels. I'm no longer multiple 5. Time for payback.
Yep. So, Doma Dream is one of those checks, of course. It has 3 checks embedded in it and 2 bosses. The way checks work in Worlds Collide is that checks can either be a character, an item, or an Esper, and then certain checks can only be a subset of that. So the second check in Doma Dream can only be a character or an Esper, so it's a guaranteed progression check. Since we didn't see a character jumping across the train, we know it's an Esper. So we know we're getting at least 2 Espers from this check. There's going to be a 3rd one at the end when we go back into the throne room, assuming our racers do not forget to do so. I am fully guilty in doing that, which could be a item or an Esper. So this could be up to 3 Espers in one essential check chain, and it's great.
And that's what you mentioned before about certain checks can only give certain things is why when you mentioned about our runners being high on characters on Espers doing the first 2 Magitech spots. Those are also only character Esper.
Yep. Fitz is saying, I want to get this Doomgaze off my screen as quickly as possible. Decided to break the Thunder Shield. Nice to do tier 3 magic damage with magic ignoring properties. And has gotten through that Doomgaze fight significantly faster than Naitu had.
And Naitu decided to go with the old hold A strategy.
Nothing wrong with that when you're swinging a Ragnarok and 2 Illuminas. We got one more boss here in Doma Dream. What is it going to be?
Magic
Probably
Master?
not. Looks like just a dad. But we're going to quickly see those numbers going up in terms of damage because those extra levels are doing so much to our damage potential.
Yeah, 3 swings and you're out. You did mention earlier, Dadaluma is a very early game fight before you get access to magic, so doesn't have a whole lot of HP.
No. Or defense. But we'll get an Esper from this check. So that's always good, of course, guaranteed progression being the name of the game. We also now unlocked Sword Tech completely. Gogo's been sitting on tools. Do you think Naitu switches over from tools to Sword Tech now?
Having access to Sword Tech 8, yeah, it's probably a good idea.
Yep. So we got another Esper here. There's an X-Zone on that Esper. Starlit Terratado has magic power +2. Obviously very appreciated to have more magic power boost, especially with these characters. Having Sword Tech again, if you're thinking you want to use Sword Tech 6, increasing your magic power is great. Sword Tech 6 is really good against, say, tier 2 of Final.
That,
So,
it's got a boosted magic and some earrings on. You could do 5,000-6,000 damage to everything.
yep. We got Night Dew going to the engine room first. So again, it looks like Night Dew is trying to do the triple Figaro Castle all at the same time. Will almost certainly do the throne while he's forgotten.
That is
Throws and
a
finds
save in there.
Sabin.
So that'll be our 6 characters out of here.
Yes. Do you feel the same way that you would much rather find your characters earlier rather than later? I'm not a big fan of seeds where they hide your 5th and 6th character and you're just walking down a hallway. I find if you want to get a faster time, get lucky enough to route your characters in early.
I definitely like finding number 4 early so I can figure out what my party's doing. I think 5 and 6, once I've got a handful of Espers, I like getting them not immediately, so I can.
It's also going through Doma Dream. I think Fitz also has Doma Defense to do after this. We'll see if he does that or if he does goes and follows Night to the engine room, where a Guardian is awaiting them. If you had learned Bolt 3, this is a great time to use Bolt 3, but otherwise Bolt 2 or throw that Thunder Shield would also be acceptable.
I agree. This very much seems like a toss Thunder Shield, mimic Thunder Shield kind of fight.
Yeah, Guardian is definitely being where it is in vanilla, of course, right before the statues. It can be no joke. If it wants to kill you, it can.
It also has roughly 3 boatloads of HP.
Yeah. Speaking of things that can kill you, there's shrapnel coming out. Yeah. Again, one of those bosses that if it wants to kill you, it can. So when it comes to bosses like this, the faster you can beat it, the better off you are. But we are seeing that use of Sortex 7. Sortex 7, of course, is one of those abilities that does ignore defense. That's why it's so good. Anything that pierces defense is going to be a great ability to use. That Guardian does go down. Night Dew does get Sabin for character 5. Does Night Dew go to Ancient Castle here? Or do you think Night Dew goes to the throne and then leaves?
I think we've gone this far. I think you go Ancient Castle.
I'll be curious to see what he decides to do. Meanwhile, Fitz going up to where Yumara's cave would be if we had Yumara, but taking a trip up to World of Ruin Narish is going to pick up this Blue Dragon at the Ice Dragon spot and the Tritox spot. Interesting timing. Just gotta want the EXP. Has probably looking for.
You're learning. Yeah, you're looking. Well, you're also learning Bolt 3 and Ultima.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have for sure.
We're going to the throne first, so we're going to see the shadow, and that may be enough to dip.
Yeah, I think if you're just looking for Espers, I just don't feel like Ancient Castles to play. So, Rybon in chat, you got the Magitech 1 and 2 that are both very quick checks. Velt Caves are peekable.
And I can decide that.
Meanwhile, another Thunder Shield for Fitz, getting that Thunder Shield back that he tossed. Night Dew wanting to do some shopping. Wonder what he is looking for. Remedies. I mean, they're half price. I mean, Ancient Castle is a long check. You have to wait for the cutscene to get down there. You have to walk through the cave system. You then have to walk the cutscene back.
I think the moment you left, the moment you didn't hit the go to Kolingen, you're not going back.
Yeah, and I agree with this decision. Meanwhile, we got tentacles at the Tritok spot. We're going to show off Sword Tech 8. That bottom left tentacle is not immune to instant death, so instantly getting rid of that. And then it'll probably be the whole A show for a bit. Art boss is nice when you have significant amount of power and you don't really have to think.
I don't understand.
Yeah. I do also going up Tritok spot. Again, these are very interesting to me. I get the dragons. Maybe you're thinking, I don't know why it really skip or something like that. But at this point, if you're sitting in Knight's shoes, you have your characters. You have really fast Esper checks between Sabin and between Sellers. And while Fitz does get an Esper, and it is Siren, so definitely useful getting that mute spell for tier 2 in Kefka, it's just an interesting play to me.
I think the reasoning is that there can't be a character up here, so it's worth... So you're going to either find a high tier item or progression through the seed.
That's fair. Meanwhile, Fitz is going to Doma Dream, knows that this can't be Doomgaze, so safe at level 30 is going to be really safe when Ultras 3 shows up. Fitz is also still looking for that 6th character. We know one of them is in the engine room here.
And that may be your... I don't know if that can be hard required. We still have... But it's going to be probably the fastest available characters. What else do we have for available characters? Opera House, Match Tech 3.
And Floating Continent. And Kefka and Narsh, but...
Kefka and Narsh isn't real. It can't hurt me.
Yeah, Double Down has made some fun seeds for Elixir A this season. Shoutouts to our commissioner Double Down, rolling these seeds for us and providing the platform of the entire Ultras League. Again, for 8 seasons.
Fitz giving Ultras the business, picking up the spare Illumina. Wondering, where's my Genji glove?
Yeah, aren't we all? You'll get Genji gloves when you have no weapons. It's a guarantee.
No, with these weapons, we're going to find offerings.
It's grabbing the Esper from Zen. It's now sitting at 5 and 8. That is, I mean, Naitu is going to sit at 6 and 6.
Yeah, 6 and 7 if doing the Shadow freebie.
Ah, yes.
Assuming Shadow freebie gets done, I'll take the 6 and 7.
Yeah. Fitz is going to gamble on Opera House in World of Balance. May also be wanting those grind fights, too. You know, levels never hurt anybody, especially when you're a physical attacker.
But as you alluded to earlier, level scale, or damage scales, or physical damage scales with level squared, so scales up fairly quickly.
So here we go. Naitu is going to need 2 more Espers after this. Is there any world where you don't immediately go to M2?
This screams Magitech.
I mean, we do have Sabin. So we have very fast checks with Sabin. But it looks like Naitu is going to go to M-Tech. Gonna hope for the first 2 checks here to both be Espers. Meanwhile, we have not the grind fight that Fitz was looking for.
Alright, hear me out from these 2. A 3rd Illu and an offering.
That would be a fun joke. I approve. So yeah, we were also talking. I mean, other things that we could have done. So I had mentioned Saban's checks, right? We have Collapsing House that you can peek if it's a character you can reset. We have Barren Falls, which is a really quick check as well. You literally just enter the falls from the overworld and you instantly start a boss fight. I expect if Night Dew doesn't get the unlock conditions here, Barren Falls will be the first thing that we see afterwards.
Falls does have a small cutscene after the fact. But yes, it is quick to get in.
Night Dew is going to save. Doesn't need to heal or anything. Meanwhile, we do have the Opera House through on Fitz side. We just are going to see the boss. Meanwhile, Vargas here. We're going to employ the same thing that we have for the past 20 minutes on Night Dew's side. Copious amounts of violence through large sticks. And get through this Vargas quite quickly. Meanwhile...
And Welk was disrupting the opera.
So Raibon keeping count. If Night Dew does get the unlock here, he will be at 17. Now, in regards to skip, no. We've done the usual suspects. There is no chance that Night Dew goes for a skip if both of these are Espers.
That is one Esper. And the Opera House gives us... Is it an Esper? Is it an item?
It is an Esper. Raiden, which is an ID, but we have plenty of instant death. Night Dew go into the second check here, the number 24 spot. It is an Esper. He's going to be in go mode. Yeah, with this amount of offense, you just are not going for skip.
With all these Illus, this is not the boss you want to see.
Just get lucky and don't pray.
Get lucky?
Yeah, some people. But yeah, Rexel going down in 4 hits or 5 hits.
Yeah, definitely went to the Raibon school of get lucky, don't get unlucky.
Meanwhile, Fitz is going to find that 6th character immediately here in the engine room. Night Dew is going to definitely have a leg up going into Kefka's Tower with that Esper in hand. Gets that unlock. Is now probably going to want to go as quickly as possible into Kefka's Tower. And yeah. Level 33. It is interesting to note, and I figured this out through my Kefka climb. Our defense. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Offense is key, but defense is nice. It's kind of non-existent.
And with these levels and low defense, your characters are just going to drop.
Yeah, there's at these levels you could definitely see a little over 2,000 HP punches. And so it's something you have to be aware of. Certainly climbing the tower. Meanwhile, Fitz does have to get through this Guardian.
You're alluding to defense being nice. Defense is very nice when you're taking counter punches from Tier 1.
Absolutely. Fitz, doing what we were saying earlier, is saying, I have a Thunder Shield, this is Guardian. Let's not play around with it, and let's go break this shield for Niners twice. Doing already 20,000. We see already, Guardian has more than 23,000 right there, 24,000.
Guardian is the second tankiest boss in the game, I think?
Yeah.
I think just behind Doomgaze.
That sounds about right. But yeah, in terms of other things that we haven't talked about, while Fitz does get unlocked as well with that 6th character, we do not have any Calmness Protection Espers. We do not have Golem. We do not have Fenrir. I don't think we have Life 3. So we may be playing a little bit of a... we do have Life 3.
We have Life 3. Celis has it. Celis has it, which means Gogo has it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that we have so many Illuminas and Ragnaroks that you would hope that you're lucky enough that they can get a block. My experience is that even if you're wielding 2 Illuminas and a Force Armor, good luck blocking Calmness, you're probably going to eat it. But that's just my luck. So yeah, nice boss to see here in the Inferno spot. Just cranes, real nice and easy and simple to take care of. Need to get through it.
And let's see. I think Fitz has a few more levels, so it's going to be a little bit more comfortable descending, be a little more comfy through this because of the Opera House check.
Yeah, but is it going to be enough to catch up to Night? Again, let me lay out the stakes if you guys haven't are joining late. Whoever wins this match is going to have a leg up in getting second place in Elixir A. Nars is the other person who was unfortunately unable to make it tonight. But between the 3 of them, whichever wins essentially in a 1v1 is going to go to Mega Elixir next season. So, this is essentially a winner's take all for that. We do see Naitu going for the dragon here, unfortunately eating a double Cyclone.
We have an Ilu, which gives a large amount of event block. It didn't help.
Seeing it a second time, Storm Dragon is interesting. At higher levels, you can see some very rude combinations that include Fallen One and Ultima and Gunner. Would not recommend. And Hyperdrive. That Go-Go is very dead. Hopefully the Celas gets one more attack off. That didn't do it.
Yeah, Celis is the one more important to get the XP on because, well, swinging the stick.
Yes. Go-Go is going to be used as a utility mage slash I'm going to use Sword Tech 8.
Which, good news, doesn't care about your level.
No. Getting a Behemoth suit, that is probably some well-needed armor if anyone can actually wear the Behemoth suit. Striking out there, Go-Go can. That's good enough.
Yeah, Behemoth suit, Force armor, that's... Honestly, that dragon gave us a good amount of defense between the Behemoth suit and the Force armor.
But yeah, it's been an interesting season in Elixir, right? This has sort of been the only seed that we've had that actually gave us power. So it's a nice cap-off to our season here in Ultras League 8. Because you weren't missing the power. The way it was all laid out.
No, those 2 Ilus were just out in the open. The seed pushes you towards Ruin, South Figaro, where the Rag was hiding.
Yep. Fitz saying no to the dragon. I said Night is going to also say no. But yeah, I mean, getting on the switches around 50 minutes, definitely not bad. Now we just gotta figure out what are our statues going. Really the only blocker here. We again know that it's not Doomgaze. So that is definitely one thing that is on sort of the worry list that we don't have to see here. What other bosses would you really not want to see right now?
I believe Magic Master is still looming.
Magic Master is indeed still looming, yes. Luckily, Guardian is out of the pool as well.
I think all 3 statues are still out there.
Yes, Doom, Doom, Pulte, and Goddess are all out there. The Goddess could be unfortunate, depending on what side that she shows up on, given that we're swinging Luminas.
Stooges could show up so we only have one real character and ruin your day.
Yeah, it depends on how quickly we can get rid of that top triplet. Shadow going down. On Fit's side, not really a problem that Shadow didn't get any EXP. Cyan is just swinging away with the Alu. The right crane does have a little bit more HP than the left. Yeah, I think the seed sort of showcases that the fastest power that you can get in a seed is the one in which you just hold it. Magic, while great, is generally slower than being able to hit things with the stick.
Magic is generally a very good tool to get to the point where you can hit things with a stick.
Hopefully you find some sticks. But here we go. Night 2 is going to be, quote, on the statue switches at 5150. Is going to take on the Guardian spot, it looks like, first. It is always the sketchiest one. Where do you go first to get your save point here?
Generally, the lane with 2 leveled characters is the safest place to go first.
Yes, and we do see number 24, where its worst ability is being showcased right there. Overflow confuses your party member. Luckily, nothing too bad happened there.
Yeah, fortunately, Celis decided to immediately break out of the confuse.
Yes, you never want to have something queued up when you get overflow. That's a great way to ultima your party, which generally wipes you. We do see another overflow. We got a Bolt 3 coming out. Luckily, still targeting number 24. Interesting.
I thought that Bolt 3 would have gone back to the party.
Yeah, same. I don't know. Targeting weird shenanigans. Someone else could probably explain it.
I'm just going to accept it happened and move on.
Yes. We got the Pulte spot here.
With ulti...
There it is. Ulti
1.
I'd say the most threatening boss in this game right now. It's the only one we have on the screen. And it's... So our middle lane didn't have anything for our runners that is threatening. What do you think about our left and right lane?
As we were going over before, there are still a large number of rude bosses left in the pool. And we just had 2 of the safer ones taken out.
Yep, we are going to see... We got some Esper and equips going on here on Night Dew's side. We got 2 more bosses left. Fitz is slowly catching up.
It fits through the 24, just has Ultros and then the other 2 lanes.
And on the Doom side, it is, again, something non-threatening, just annoying.
I'm thinking what bosses are left that could finish this trifecta of not threatening, but wait a second.
So fish operate on a cycle between 5 and 55 seconds. This one definitely rolled the 5-second timer. And Rizapas is dead. So I don't want to I don't want to jinx anything, or maybe I do. I mean, my placement doesn't matter in this seed. But I know Night Dew's PB. And right now we are very much on pace for Night 2 to get a very nice Ultras League PB. I wonder if he's feeling a little bit of pressure because of that.
Or feeling the seed's been easy, possibly feeling Fitz's footsteps.
It very much could be.
Alright, show us, I'm trying to think what's just annoying left in the pool. Yeah, that's... Definitely annoying.
Yes, I believe that Night Dew still has some Thunder Shields available. That you could put on Edgar here and basically make this fight free. But I don't really think this is any... I don't think this is a difficult fight for Night Dew. I don't think it will be a difficult one for Fitz either.
Just annoying because Funbaba has approximately all the HP.
Yeah. But we actually did see the Thunder Shield's already on Edgar here, so no worries. We just got one last obstacle after this Funbaba. Fitz is going to be right behind. I don't know what he has going on the right lane here.
Yeah,
but
after this... go ahead.
We're going to be on switches soon on Night Dew's side first. Of course, there's a fun little game that people like to play. It's called Guess the Amount of Time It Takes for the entire tiers climb, starting when the bell rings in Tier 1, all the way to the crack boom of Final Kefka. We've got power. We've got more power than I know what to do with, even though we don't have the levels. So, Dave, I have to ask you, once we get through this Funbaba, how long is Night Dew's climb going to take?
We don't have any, like, big AoE. I'm going to say... I'm going to say 10:45.
Yeah, it's interesting. The sticks are good. We're lacking something to get through the actual, Berserk phase of Tier 3. That could be a problem. We've already talked about the defense situation. We don't have defense. I don't know if we have curing, quite honestly. And so this is one of those climbs that is going to be made up by how many counter punches are you taking, and how much risk are you taking, and how long is Tiger in Tier 2 going to be a thing. We do have Mute for Tier 2. That is going to help our racers significantly.
And we do have instant death for short arm and for tools.
Yes. So, there was an Esper with Quick. I don't know who has been taught that. But, this could be a case where, I'll let you into a secret. There were no Espers that taught Fire.
So a quad, you best be frozen, can just do very bad things.
Yes. Yes, it can. So, we could very easily, with even the offense we have here, see a Northern Cross come out, and we could get quad frozen, and we don't have a solution for that.
And we do have Tier 2.
So yeah, we do have Sword Tech coming out. It's interesting, we don't... so, there's some little bit of talk knowing about weight tricking. We're in the menu during these animations to stop the ATB of the enemy going through. We're not really... We can talk a little bit about Tier 1. We saw the instant death go off with Cleave to Long Arm on the left. Then you're going to want to kill the head. If the head is left standing, we get a nice 2,000 damage AoE Quake coming out at the end of Tier 1, not what you want to see. And then you leave Short Arm there, who likes to counter your punches with a strong physical attack. And that's going to be where it gets interesting. Especially with Edgar in the front row.
We do have a decent amount of physical evade between the Rag, the Illu, and some shields, but you actually need to evade the punches.
Yes.
And Fitz is in right behind Night Dew.
Yep, about 30-second difference. Again, that Tier 2 and Tier 3 could very well be the difference between taking first in this race or second. Or the procs. Sometimes you like procs. I find them kind of annoying a lot in the Kefka climb, but we have Night Dew going to Tier 2.
Given that those procs are basically doing twice damage to the swing, I like them.
Yeah, in this case. For sure. The Flare procs, not so much from Ed.
Yeah, the Holy procs are very nice. Are going to be very nice throughout this.
So here we go, Tier 2. We got a 4-part tier here. We got Tiger in the bottom right. We got Hit in the right side, tools in the middle, and we got magic on the left. Magic can be muted with Siren. We're going to see that coming out here. Tools can be killed by instant death, including Sword Tech 8, which is Cleave. Hit will just hit once physically every turn, and then Tiger Face is the thing that can really wreck your day. Weak to ice, but once he gets to about 13,000 HP left, can start using some really fun abilities like Doom Tusk, which will zombie a character. You can see some North Cross if the battle goes on too long. So these procs, despite what I said earlier, those procs, getting rid of Tiger Face, getting, faster, definitely useful.
Here's the North Cross you were talking about.
Meanwhile, Fitz is on tier 2. How lucky are you? 2 characters
Not very lucky.
are frozen. And not a fire spell in sight.
On Fitz's side, Edgar gets turned into an imp. Diffuser comes out. I know Fitz has chucked a few Thunder Shields, so probably doesn't have... Okay, there was one on Edgar, so gets healed by that.
So at this point, we're just going to try to take down Tiger as quickly as possible. It's actually interesting, at this point, you don't really want to spend that much time in your menu because we want the timers for being frozen to run out quickly.
And so this is a case where weight tricking is not the answer because, like you're saying, you need the HP to keep running.
Yep. And all Night Dew has left is hit and magic. Magic can't do anything until magic is dead.
And Cyan is down on Fitz's side. Gonna need to use... Did Fitz learn Life 2? Because that could be a very useful healing spell. Here comes Northern Cross.
Nobody getting affected by Northern Cross on Fitz's side. Meanwhile, we got Night Dew casting Life 3, not having that calmness protection, is going to go ahead and do that. Magic, as part of their death counter, is going to cast... could cast Quarter, could cast a spell. It is a random chance to get any of those abilities, so there is a possibility where we do get, that Life 3 does get dispelled, and you're going to want to remember that if you really, truly care. This is the other thing you get to figure out. How much do you actually care about calmness protection? And what characters really want it?
Second North Cross coming out on Fitz's side. Cyan and Edgar getting frozen this time.
Yeah, that is the same frozen luck that Night Dew had. Well, the second. Same characters are being frozen. Night Dew is going to go ahead and take on Magic here. I'm probably going to pick up that Edgar at some point. So yeah, we'll know when Magic is dead once that Quarter Dispel actually goes through. You'll know it's close to dead once you start seeing Quarter and Dispel pop up after every attack. Because once you're down to 10,000, that's always a fun possibility when you don't have it muted. Procs. More procs.
We see Fitz taking advantage of Sword Tech 5 to heal some characters, to heal Go-Go.
Definitely not bad.
One we didn't mention earlier, Sword Tech 5 drains HP and MP from the target.
Yes, is magic-based. So the higher your magic, the more you're going to restore. We get a lot of procs here on Night Dew's side. Luckily, most of them being on that Pearl from Cella's doing that massive amount of damage. Not getting a single counter on that death. Very
good RNG. Now, I believe it would be completely safe if Merton comes out because of the Thunder Shields on everyone.
I don't know if Night Dew has Thunder Shields on everybody.
I saw 3 people at least. I saw 3 people get healed from Diffuser.
But very nice to not have to worry about it either. Don't have to reapply Life 3 to anybody. Does get that Merton coming out. So Night Dew retaining some of that lead here is going to have to knock down...
Here's where we don't want those Pearl procs.
Yeah, Girl absorbs every single element. Girl on the top. We have Sleep on the right here. Attack Girl first. She has 9,999 HP.
But also, if Girl still is alive when Sleep goes down, Sleep being the bottom character, you get nice life too. So, definitely worthwhile to kill Girl first. Meanwhile, that Pearl proc is probably going to just do Edgar in here. Yeah.
We decided to wake Edgar up by putting him to sleep and then letting Life 3 do its thing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Fitz is going through tier 2. We see those quarters come out. Not as lucky. Does hit Go-Go. We got a Whirlwind coming out, hitting a couple characters here. Again, it's going to be a question here. We have those life 3s up. We still have Girl being up. Meanwhile, Fitz is going up to tier 3. This is really, really close because that Whirlwind basically reset Sleep, or reset Girl.
And the Pearl proc right away from Night Dew just hasn't been able to stick damage.
Fitz does not have life 3 on anybody, I don't think. But yeah, this is going to be a tale of how well are you going to control your end of tier 3. We have Sword Tech 7 that's doing about 6,800, 7,000 damage, which is not enough to bypass the Berserk phase. What is enough is if you get a Pearl proc from that Celas by hitting with the Illumina.
Fitz has decided the much simpler way to avoid dealing with Pearl procs or anything from on the back is to just throw large explosions at it.
Not a bad idea. We're going to be very close to having Girl Sleep go into that Berserk phase. I expect this damage here from this proc to do it.
We might be there. I have no idea.
We could have been lucky. It's not a guarantee that we get this sort of Berserk. I hope Night's been counting because I haven't been.
Once you get rest down to 10,240 HP or lower, it is it can counter with an equal chance of Train, Meteor, or nothing.
That is... I want to, okay, Cella's getting hit there, has life 3, getting hit for the Illumina. I want to comment on something. That was an obscene number of attacks where Sleep had less than 10,000 HP, and Night Dew didn't see a single Meteor or Train.
I do see Fitz getting trained, and just chucking a nice shield. Get out of here once you're in that phase.
Get out. Yep. And luckily for the things like Illumina, will hit through blindness. Cell's going down. Not what Fitz was looking for. Meanwhile, we got Final Kefka going onto the screen on both our racers. Again, both of these for Elixir A, for the good chance of making it to Mega Elixir next season. Let's give it up to both our racers as we see 62,000 HP of Kefka descending from the heavens here. What do we got here, Dave?
62,000 HP, as you said. Once you do about 30,000 damage, Kefka will enter Goner phase. You'll know you're in there when you see the end comes beyond chaos. We do see Fallen One here, which is always Kefka's opening action.
Yes, we did not, unless we got in some really interesting procs, we definitely did not have enough damage to get past Fallen One.
Now, once you push Kefka past that 30,000 damage, he does have a chance to counterattack any attack with Hyperdrive or Havoc Wing.
Or a regular attack, but yes. Meanwhile, Fitz does have to recover from the train.
There's End Comes Beyond Chaos. So we're in Goner phase now. This is just do another 30,000 damage as fast as possible to avoid seeing Goner entirely. And yeah, chucking some Thunder Shields is going to do the work here.
Yeah, that is a considerable number of shields. That will certainly do enough damage to beat down Kefka here. That should be... Ooh.
Oh, we see a Goner. Celis is still standing. Just call an attack with Celis here. It should get you out.
Yeah, we gotta be pretty close here. That was nearly 30,000 damage on the shield breaks. Celis does have enough defense. We do have life 3, so saving us. Meanwhile, Fitz going here still has quite a bit of damage to do, I believe. I believe that is it. That is GG's for Night Dew taking first in this race. Fitz is waiting for that Goner. With a time can pull it up. 110.49. GG's to Night Dew. Is going to have to wait Nars time later in the week. Hope you are doing well, Nars. To see whether or not he'll make it to Mega Elixir next season.
We do see Fitz took a train here, threw out a Sortex 7, got hyperdrive counters, so definitely in goner phase HP. Counters don't start happening until you're in that HP range. There's Endgods Beyond Chaos on Fitz's side.
Got some sword tech action going on.
2 Thunder Shield breaks that will get you close.
Oh god, that gunner. What's our magic
A
defense?
Sortex 7 and another shield from Gogo should get you out if you have 1 more to break. Or 2 Sortex 7s should get you out.
Yeah, I don't know what our magic defense is like. Barely hanging on Go-Go here. Hector cannot counter until he does 1 more action.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to point out. That the fun thing about this, you're basically free to swing until you see the next action, which is usually Revenger.
Speaking of it, so now we're in very much a trouble. If we don't kill, I expect we are in Ultima range. Ultima would unfortunately kill this party right now, so we're gonna really want this Sword Tech 7 to kill.
This should kill. This will be more than 30,000 damage. So this will be GG to Fitz.
And that looks like you are correct. That is GG's to Fitz with a time of 112 something in the race room right. 112.54. GG's to both of them. Dave, where I cut you off a little bit earlier, would you like to say what you were going to say?
No, because I already forgot what it was.
All right. Well, we are joined in the commentary booth by both of our racers, our winner tonight, Night Dew 14, and our second place, but still a great finish in 1 free Fitz. GG's to both of you. How did you like the power that we hadn't seen all season?
Oh god, I was shaking. In the tower by 46 minutes. Swords everywhere. I don't even know what else to say on that.
Fitz, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice, but I don't necessarily feel like I'm the best in our division at the get big swords and then go real fast sort of deeds. Like, I feel like I played it pretty well and aggressively, but I don't know. There's definitely minutes I still left on the table, probably being too conservative. I don't know. I have to go back and watch it to know for sure, though.
Yeah, it's interesting because we got those big sticks, right? But it seemed interesting because you also felt a bit under-leveled at the end, I assume. Right? You're doing 3... You don't have a gauntlet or something like that, so you feel a little bit underwhelming in terms of your DPS, and you're still being there like, I'm swinging Illuminas and Ragnaroks, and I'm doing 3,000 damage. Excuse me?
Oh, absolutely. I am thinking this was the whole... I think this is the first seed for the entire set that I did not get skip. So I'm absolutely feeling underpowered here.
Is that true for you as well, Fitz?
I did think about... I was too far away from getting the skip. In my brain, I was just like, well, if I did, like, Collapsing House and Falls and then the front 2 of it, it just wasn't adding up. And then... levels, I mean, we were like, I think I was like 35 going in. It was right on the edge, and I was just like, one, I didn't have an answer for Magi Master in a couple lanes, so I was like, well, if that happens, it's over. And then the other thing was not like, yeah, no one could go over in my party 10k damage in a turn. And I didn't have any calmness protection either, so Tier 4 got a little slower and scary. for me, but I kind of just sent it and was like, if I get Ultima countered, then it wasn't meant to be today.
But I mean, it was a great showing. Dave, I'm sure you also have questions. I have plenty more questions as well, but I'll let my commentating partner here.
So what was you'd found? So Fitz, you'd found the early shadow, bunch of stuff behind that. Gogo's Cave still something you like routing in early, even with all the other free stuff on the table.
Yeah, I decided, I wrote down at the beginning like 3 like notes for myself. One was like, be aggressive about scaling, especially if I had any sort of power, which I did, and I had like 4 breakable rods and a couple of shields in my pocket and a mimic. So like I wasn't really worried about getting behind because my plan was snap those rods. And then I was fortunate that I found those tasty Iron Hitman in the desert by Zen that were worth a lot of experience, and I could take down in a rod break. So that helped me get caught up. So I wasn't too worried, and I was being greedy about free progression. So that was kind of part of my plan of how am I going to really try to be super aggressive in week 8 to try to finally get promoted out of Elixir, but I don't think I did enough.
Sort of in a similar vein, Night Dew. You took Zone Eater immediately because you went to Gal's Manor and found those warp stones pretty much right out of Narsh. What made you go sort of that path rather than going towards a more conventional Figaro throne to grab Edgar's freebie at the beginning?
That was also aggression. I had known through most of the season that a lot of us were not fast to the Zone Eater check. So I'm thinking, okay, something decent comes out of Zone Eater. I can leverage this. And I'm like, okay, yes, my idea was to find warp stones as fast as possible, jump into Zone Eater, hope for something good. Celeste, great. I only have to take 1 run through South Figaro. Only the first time through, I forget Edgar exists. I'm like, crap, I need to want to come back for half price shops anyway. But after that, it's like, oh, here, have a Ragnarok. Here, have a little bit more power. And like Fitz said, we had a few rods right off the bat and a mimic, so we had plenty to snap. But I will also answer Rybon's now that I see his on chat. Yes, that is exactly what I faded the Edgar freebie for so long because I did want to route it in with engine room.
Yeah, I think Dave and I were talking about when you were after grabbing that Sabin from engine room, and you had walked and grabbed the throne freebie, and then walked back and sort of was like, "Oh, am I going to Ancient Castle or no?" I think Dave and I were kind of like, "We don't like." It's like, please don't go to Ancient Castle. As a long check.
I turned around because I'm like, wait, I forgot to shop. But no, after I found that 6th character, no, Ancient Castle was off the table. Yes.
So, it was interesting to watch both of you route this, because the beginning was interesting because we kind of looped around each other, but one thing you both did was take dragons early. So obviously you have the Mount Zozo dragon, which makes sense because you have a check there as well. But what was both of your intents, having, at least at the time, a Ragnarok, and Fitz got his first Illumina, I believe, from Opera House Dragon. But what was your intent behind going from Mount Zozo's Dragon to Opera House Dragon, and then eventually Ice Dragon up in World of Ruin Narsh? Because I found it was pretty interesting, because a lot of, I would say, the meta for dragon killing is to hold off, especially with Opera House Dragon, especially if you've already killed a dragon, to do it later in the seed where you get a little bit more EXP. So I kind of want to understand your mindset behind sort of killing both of those dragons really quickly.
Yeah, I think for me, because my main power was that Ragnarok, at that point, I was like, I got to get this online. We need to get up in the 20s. And I also think while those dragons are more experienced later on, taking them earlier, I find I have higher levels at the end of the seed because it's again raising scaling. So that was also factoring into my raise scaling as much as possible, as fast as possible. Plan was if there's a dragon nearby and I can beat it. I think a rod still kicking around too. Plus the shields, those are always in the back of my mind as anything hard, and they were getting broken and mimicked. Like I had a guardian. That was my plan for Doom Gaze before they just wiped me with math. Before I got a chance to do anything. But that was probably my proudest moment, was bouncing off of that and being like, fine, I'll go do Velk Cave. And then we're coming back, like, because I'm going to get you.
Revenge. Absolutely. I know we've all been there too. It's like, I'll be
I
back
swear.
for you. I'm going to kill you with multiple pieces of aggression.
I swear Doma Castle is Doom Gaze's second home. He's always there.
It's where it could be. Well, generally where it's most annoying is where it's going to be. Whether or not that's, say, Dave can get a chuckle out of this, Phantom Train, or the end of Floating Continent, or Kefka's Tower, or Burning House. Yeah, Doomgaze, never really great to see.
And then
Can't
sometimes
really
the
ever be
Doom
good.
Gaze is, in the hard required path through the seed.
Yeah. But hey, I cannot tell you where I don't think I found Magimaster in my route, so it's still kind of out there somewhere. I can tell you, as someone in Elixir, that there is Calmness Protection. It is in Floating Continent 3. So yeah, given the routes there, I was going to doubt that either of you would find that. But
What are you talking about? I had Life 3, and I apparently left a very good gift basket to Tower of the Gods and Kefka, because I have no clue how many counters I dodged.
yes. Between getting no death counters in tier 2 from Magic to probably 3 counters missing from Sleep. I think it was at least 3. I think it was 3. Yeah, it was a little bit ridiculous. We were, in the booth and in chat, we were just like, okay, you're definitely under 10,000 HP. Where is the Medios? Where's the train?
I was thinking I just miscounted.
I didn't have quick. I knew I was going to eat a counter or two. I was like, just stopping, like, wait, where is it? Where do I need to? Did I dodge something? No? Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fitz not getting as lucky in tier 3, eating a train counter, which did cause a bit of issues in tier 4 as well. Both of you getting the same, I will say, eventually the same North Cross luck, where 2 of your characters, your Cyan and your Edgar, both got frozen, leaving Celeste and Go-Go. That makes 3 of us, by the way. I think I had maybe one other character frozen. I don't know whether or not you guys figured out as quickly as I did that, yeah, there was no fire magic in the seed.
No, none that I saw.
No. There was a fire rod in Narsh. That was about it.
Oh, dang it, I still had one. I know I had it in my inventory. Oh, well.
Dave, any questions
that was
for
fun.
It's always great to. This race was really close. Fitz, you actually made up quite a bit of time in Kefka's Tower. We kind of figured it was going to come down to as races between 2 really good runners of the game often come down to in seats like this. Just a little bit of luck here in the Kefka Tower climb. Unfortunately, the Doomgaze math test as well. Although I will say, as much as bouncing off that Doomgaze was sort of hurt you in terms of time, your Doomgaze fight was probably a couple minutes faster than Night Dew's. So,
I mean, turns out he's resistant to big sticks hitting him. Who knew, right?
Fitz deciding that shields were resources and getting through it quite a bit faster. both on Guardian and on Doomgaze. And then it was interesting. I think you got a Thunder Shield pretty much immediately after Doma Dream when you went up to Ice Dragon.
Yeah,
It
I
was
felt like I
yeah.
got rewarded. It was like, here you go. Have it back. And then I was like, cool, I might use it again if something else bad comes along. And then I did. I didn't even put it on. It was just in the inventory for Guardian. That helps, I find, with the as nice as they are for like defensive value if I'm not relying on it for like protection. Because I think Celeste had some force armor on too, where it was like, you're fine. Let's just keep that in the pocket and we'll snap it if necessary. And it was.
You mean the only sort of set of armor in the entire game other than the Behemoth Suit Knight do found at the very end?
Yeah, that last dragon in Kefka's tower, who I'm like, oh, this will be fine, don't worry about it. Then he pops hyperdrive on Go-Go, and I'm like, okay, time to panic and hold A.
I don't know. Did you both going into Kefka's tower? I mean, you had the level situation, but did you have in the back of your mind about your armor situation and sort of had an idea of how much you may be taking in tier 1 and tier 2?
Absolutely. Now I still had the Thunder Shields, so I knew I had some kind of backup healing from like diffusers coming out or what have you there, and the Merton protection. But yes, absolutely. Never mind the fact that I think I had like 1 X potion, 1 elixir, and Cure 2 on Cyan and Go-Go.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Edgar had like iron armor. He had something bad. I knew he was in big trouble. But everyone else was in the back row, and I think Cyan had like a Moogle suit. Celeste had the force armor. I didn't really. Gogo could go down. He wasn't super important to the overall, although he ended up being. So of course I say that, and then he stayed up till the very end. But so I was more worried about just like if I got double calmness and the wrong combination of characters having like nothing but swords, to block those calmness, and we only had the 1, and of course it hit. Now having darkness that was really what killed me with the train, because I feel like if I'm remembering how like dark works, it messes up the whole being able to block stuff in addition to not being able to hit stuff. And so when that got out and I couldn't like cure it on everyone, I might have to start putting unicorn on when I don't have a better Esper slot, because being able to get rid of train like in 1 turn can be a big difference maker sometimes.
Absolutely. Mantra is one of those underrated blitz uses too. Didn't have that this seat, unfortunately. Dave, I've been asking a bunch of questions. I know you got a couple earlier. Do you have any more questions for Erasers?
I think you've covered the everything we had.
All right. Night 2 Fitz, any last words as we close out week 8 of Elixir A?
It was another fun season, and I'll be back again. Plus, we got this War of the Magi going on, so now I can turn my attention to always fighting the statues in the tower at high levels for a bit.
Ultimas abound. Night 2.
Oh, sorry, say that again.
Do you have any last words as we close out Ultras League 8 Elixir A?
No, I mean we still have Narbs, who unfortunately ran into some life technical difficulties, who still could actually surpass us all. So not out of the clear yet, but I mean it's been a rather amazing set of races. I mean that it came down to this situation has just been really great, and wherever we land next season, it's been great to participate in the last few, and again, hats off to everybody who's been running this group.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself with the Elixir A. It's been an exciting finish for sure. I can't wait to see how this shakes out.
the winner between the three of you gets to go up to Mega Elixir and face Golden Shocker and Falcon Head. I don't know if that's a reward.
I'm scared.
Save me. No, but I definitely a well-run race by both of you. Definitely showing off that you belong in the top runners of Worlds Collide. And obviously, thank you for being a part of the restream. You guys are the ones that make this happen. Dave, my lovely co-commentator, any final words?
Just, fantastic show put on by both of you. And should that 110 hold up, I'll repeat to you the same thing you reported to me a few days ago. Congratulations and welcome back, Elixir, if that 110 holds up.
Thank you.
Fitz, heck of a run. Hope to see you next season in Elixir.
Indeed, one of these seasons, I'll finally get out of Elixir. Season 7 of Elixir is the lucky one, they say.
I meant hope to see you in the same group.
Oh, indeed, for sure. Just got my eyes on the top at all times. The dream.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, with that, I believe we will let you both go. And yeah, this was a very fun matchup between two really good racers of Worlds Collide. I hope you all enjoyed watching this. If you do want to join Ultras League, there will certainly be an Ultras League 9. Join the FF6 Discord, which is linked in the chat. And we do have a beginner flag set or a beginner tournament called the Moogle Cup for newer players. If you are interested in learning the game, that's a great way to get involved. There's a mentee-mentor system where you get paired up with a more experienced runner to really understand sort of the tricks to getting faster and faster times. So wonderful community. Would love to see new players there. There are new players joining all the time. As soon as we get, I believe, 16 people who are interested, we run the Moogle Cup. So come and join. There are plenty of flag sets, plenty of options. If you like draft, if you like chaos, if you like sort of mystery draft, all those are there. But we'd love to have you around. But with that, we're going to close off this stream. It's been a wonderful Speed Gaming stream. Thank you again to Speed Gaming. As we close off this Ultras League season that ends on Saturday, I believe we will have a couple more restreams of races coming up to finish this. But I'm Fiery Blizzard. For my co-commentator, NG Dave, thank you all for watching.